Hi, everybody. It's Laura here. And thank you for joining us for Legal Talk Tuesday today, where today we're going to talk about goals. What's your goal in life? It's a good thing to think about that, but we're going to take it smaller today. And instead of talking about life goals, let's talk about something more manageable, more immediate. So if you're thinking about divorce, separation, you're already separated, what's your goal for the outcome of that process? Is it to get back together? That's excellent if that's your goal. Work on it. Go to therapy, talk to your partner, go through mediation, get some third-party assistance, try to figure out, you need actionable items to work towards that goal. If your goal is divorce, then let's take that even further. So yes, your goal is divorce, but is it, is your goal to fight to the death over every tiny thing because your feelings are hurt, your trust is broken, you feel betrayed? Excuse me. That's definitely one way to go about it, but we encourage you to think long and hard about the consequences to that particular goal. One thing that we help you work toward here at MyVirtual.Lawyer is peace. Peace of mind, peace with your bank account, peace that you can work towards the ultimate goal of moving on after the divorce. So let's talk about 3 things that we believe are important to keep in mind when working towards that ultimate goal of moving on after divorce. Number 1, let's talk about mindset. We've all seen movies and TV shows where divorce is a subject of much anger, frustration, fighting, bulldog attorneys, guns blazing litigation. I really recommend that anybody who's thinking about going that route or thinking that that's the best route for you to get what you want, to watch the movie Marriage Story that came out in 2019 with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. If you like watching movies and TV shows and that's kind of your perception of how divorce is, go watch that movie. It is, for me, whether or not you have children with your spouse, this is a cringe-worthy, devastating story of what it looks like and the emotional and financial toll that it takes on each individual to go through the route of paying the attorneys to fight it out for you. So keep that in mind. It's a beautifully acted movie, but to me, it's also one of the best ways to show what happens when your philosophy is going into a divorce, or even if it progresses during the divorce, is to fight to get what you think you deserve. I'm not saying that there aren't legitimate situations where you need to hire those types of attorneys to advocate on your behalf, but please be aware, and I hope your attorney is making you aware of the potential damage that this type of approach can take. So number 2, let's talk about the legal part of things. Getting divorced really can be legally painless. So oftentimes people think it's going to be super painful, super long, super expensive. And we understand that the end of a marriage is not remotely painless, but the legal process can be. If you talk to your spouse, if you guys have, an ultimate goal of working things out so that you can both move on, whether that's separating property, whether that's selling a house, whether that's about child custody, whatever the situation might be, it is possible to get divorced and it be legally painless. Here in Arkansas, it does, there are a lot of requirements for the law about the process of getting divorced. One of the least, but most frustrating for a lot of people, is that you have to wait 30 days to get divorced in Arkansas after you file a complaint for divorce. So it's kind of a cooling off period, let's say, and it's, it is what it is. We have to wait 30 days. But it's during that time that a lot of times our clients specifically can get to the process of making sure that they have everything in place, that they have what they want to in the decree, that they've worked out all the little tiny details. So it doesn't have to be legally painful, and it also doesn't have to be super expensive if you go into with the idea that it can be a painless process. You've already done all the hard work on making this decision. It's already been a painful process. So let's make the legal part of it as painless as possible. Number 3, if you do have children with your spouse, whether it's one child, whether it's multiple children, what is your goal for them? That's a huge thing that you should be thinking about right now, is what is your goal for the children? I hope it's to see them happy and healthy with two separate households. And if it's not, think about that being your goal for the children, but that should always be at the forefront of your mind when making every single decision during this process. What do you want your kids to be like during and after the process of divorce of their parents? Even if it's step parents, whatever it might be, divorce is going to impact those kids. And I want you to really keep in mind what they're seeing, what they're feeling, and keep them at the forefront whenever you're making decisions. I'm not saying that you have to, just roll over and give away everything, but we don't necessarily need to take it to a place where the kids are being told or overhearing you talking about, your husband being a cheating jerk or the wife being a crazy, witch, will say. Those types of things you don't really want the kids to be involved in. What's your goal for them? It really should be that they have happy, healthy lives with two loving parents that happen to live in separate households now. So that's something really to keep in mind. So just to wrap up a little bit, what's your mindset going in? If it's because you have this idea of what divorce is, because of TV and movies, and maybe friends have gone through bad divorces, doesn't mean that bad divorces don't happen and that angry divorces don't happen. It's possible to make it less painful for both yourself, your emotions, your bank account, all that kind of fun stuff. So it is possible to get divorced with peace, and it all depends on you, your spouse, your goals, and your decisions. So thank you for joining us today. If you ever have any questions, you can certainly set up a consultation with me. I do our family law here at MyVirtual.Lawyer. But Brooke will be here next week to talk to our small business listeners. So join her on Tuesday at 11:30. And we hope you have a great rest of your week. Again, keep in mind, let's make this all as crazy emotion free as possible, because it's already emotional to get divorced. It doesn't have to be as painful as what people think it is going to be, whether that's on your pocketbook or your emotional state. We can do this in a peaceful way. So have a great rest of your week, and thanks so much for joining us.